Have you ever stopped to think about what happens when the very ground beneath our feet, the soil that gives us life, starts to die? Well, there's a word for it: desertification. It's a huge story about our land, our impact on it, and, maybe most importantly, how we can actually bring it back from the brink. So, here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll get a handle on what desertification actually is. Then, we're going to dig into the human activities that are really driving it. After that, we'll look at the pretty devastating impact it has on communities. And then we'll wrap up with the really cool part: the ingenious ways people are fighting back and reclaiming their land. All right, let's start at square one. What exactly are we talking about when we use this word desertification? At its heart, it's pretty simple. Desertification is the process of fertile, productive land turning into desert. Imagine rich soil that can grow crops and support life, but it slowly degrades until it's just dry, dusty, and barren. And get this, it's not about existing deserts just getting bigger. It's about brand new deserts being created where they never were before. And here is the absolute key, the part that changes everything. While the climate definitely plays a role, this whole process is fundamentally driven by human activity. So yeah, it's a problem we've created. But that also means the solutions are in our hands. So if we're the main cause, what exactly are we doing that's leading to this? Let's take a look at the key drivers. It really boils down to four main culprits. First up, climate change, which is making things hotter and drier, putting a ton of stress on the land. Second, deforestation. It makes sense, right? We cut down trees and their roots aren't there anymore to hold the soil together, so it just gets washed or blown away. Third is overgrazing. That's when too many animals eat up all the plants, leaving the soil totally bare and exposed. And finally, there's overcultivation. Just farming the same piece of land over and over without a break basically sucks all the nutrients out, making it infertile. Now, these causes aren't just ideas on a slide. They have absolutely devastating, real-world consequences for millions of people. Let's look at a case study to really understand the human cost of all this. We're going to talk about the Sahel. It's this huge region in Africa, right on the southern edge of the Sahara Desert. And sadly, this area has become a poster child for desertification's impact. The scale of the crisis here is just staggering. Take a look at this number: 20 million. That is how many people just in this one region have been directly affected. 20 million lives completely turned upside down by a changing landscape. You can see this tragic chain reaction playing out. It starts with droughts that have been happening regularly since the 80s. That, of course, leads to massive crop failure. With no plants to hold the ground together, the soil just erodes, and the final awful result: famine. It's a truly vicious cycle. Okay, but this is not where the story ends, not by a long shot. Faced with this incredible crisis, people have come up with some amazing solutions, turning all that devastation into a story of ingenuity and hope. The first thing you have to do is manage water because it's so precious. This means making smart choices, like planting crops that are naturally tough and don't need a ton of water. It also means using clever tech, like drip irrigation, which gets water right to the roots with almost no waste. And it even includes these simple but brilliant low-tech ideas, like digging little plant pits that catch and hold rainwater exactly where it's needed. Planting trees is another game changer. It's like a superpower for the soil. Why? Well, trees do three critical things all at once. Their roots act like a giant net, holding the soil in place. Their leaves fall and create this natural compost, keeping the soil fertile. And their shade acts like a huge umbrella, cooling the ground and stopping water from just evaporating away. And speaking of planting trees, we have to talk about one of the most ambitious environmental projects on the entire planet: the Great Green Wall. Now, this isn't a wall made of bricks. It's an 8,000-kilometer-long belt of trees and plants stretching across the whole width of Africa. It's a living barrier to hold back the desert. But it's so much more than that. It's providing food, creating jobs, and it's a massive tool to help fight climate change. It is hope on a continental scale. Beyond these huge projects, the solution is also about farming smarter. Sometimes it's as simple as letting the land rest between harvests so it can get its nutrients back, or rotating crops so you're not pulling the same things out of the soil year after year. And, of course, using local compost to put those good nutrients back in. It's really about working with nature, not fighting against it. And this is just a perfect example of what's called appropriate technology, using simple, cheap, local stuff to solve huge problems. So the problem is, when it rains, the water just runs off and takes all the good topsoil with it. The solution? Building these low lines of stones along the curves of the land. The stones slow the water, trap the soil, and give the rain time to soak in. It's simple, it's effective, and it's something people can do themselves. So in the end, while desertification is a huge challenge that we've caused, the solutions are also human. They're found in science, in ancient wisdom, and just in the sheer will of communities to make things better. Which really leaves us with one final, hopeful question. With some simple tools and a whole lot of human determination, can we really make the deserts bloom again?